Colorado, where I'm from, then from Denver to New York and New Jersey for MLB Network, and now I'm starting my 7th season with the Los Angeles Dodgers. So, it's been quite the process of just kind of working my way up. I went to school for journalism at the University of Colorado. I received my master's degree from Boulder and, started at the bottom and worked my way up. And, I've been covering baseball for quite some time now.
Yeah. So obviously you do a lot of things now with your foundation with the dogs. And if you don't mind, can you speak on that on your foundation?
Yeah, Guidry's Guardian Foundation is the foundation that I officially launched in July of 2019, the 4th of July of 2019. And the sole purpose of the foundation is to save dogs off of the streets and out of high-kill shelters. So unfortunately, in large cities like Los Angeles, where I live, there are several high-kill shelters where dogs are euthanized simply because there just isn't enough space. There's nothing wrong with the dogs. They just don't have a prayer. They don't have a chance because there's overcrowded shelters and not enough resources. So Guidry's Guardian Foundation was named after my dog, Guidry, who I adopted in 2009. And we do the best that we can to save as many dogs as we can. And it's 100% donation based. So we're only funded by the generosity of our community. And, we do as much as we can to save as many as we can.
Man, that's really inspiring and awesome. And I used to have 2 dogs myself, but both of them are not passed away. But I'm a dog person too. That foundation is just amazing. So keep it up. And that. So obviously, there's no games right now, and according, I guess, recently they said that they're closing in some kind of deal where they're going to have a spring training soon and then start the season potentially in July. Well, that's what Jeff Passan said. But what do you think will happen? Do you think they'll close that deal down, or do you think there's still further to go?
Well, there's nothing official from Major League Baseball. And until Major League Baseball and the actual teams say what's going on, everything is speculation right now. I know there's been a lot of rumors out there, a lot of different scenarios and situations of how Major League Baseball might get back to, spring training 2.0 and get back on the field. But until I officially hear it from the Los Angeles Dodgers or from Major League Baseball, I'll believe it when I actually see it. I know that everybody is hopeful that we get going as soon as possible, but they're certainly not going to do it at the risk of the players and the essential personnel. So hopefully, we can start ramping up soon and have some sort of spring training. We're not necessarily sure where that's going to be, whether it's going to be back in Arizona or in the respective cities where the clubs are. And hopefully at some point we will be able to play baseball again. It's obviously going to likely be a shortened season, but I know the players want to play, and I know the fans obviously want us to play as well.
Yeah, I just want, me and my friends just want baseball. I'm a Yankee fan. I grew up watching the Yankees, and we just want baseball back. But I want to speak on the Dodgers here because they have an interesting team. They're obviously they're talented, and they made the big trade with Mookie Betts and David Price. But the only concern is Mookie Betts is under contract for 1 year, and he can leave after this year. So if the season is shortened and they won't get to see Mookie Betts for a full season in the Dodgers uniform, but do you see him? I mean, obviously it's too early to tell, but do you see him liking LA so far?
Well, I mean, I certainly don't want to speak for Mookie. I'd rather tell you exactly how he feels, but I can tell you in the time that he has spent so far with the Dodgers and speaking with his teammates as well as the Dodgers front office, he's fit in incredibly well. He's enjoyed the time so far in a Dodgers uniform, although he hasn't played in the regular season yet. His teammates love him. He fit in seamlessly. He's already a leader on this club. And I know the Dodgers, and speaking with the Dodgers front office, it's their intent to keep him longer than a year. Obviously, it's his right to test free agency, but the Dodgers did not bring him to LA for a year rental. The thought has always been that, hopefully they can sign him to a longer term deal. But, that remains to be seen, and a lot's going to happen, determine what's going to happen this year. But I know that the Dodgers would love to have him in a uniform if it makes sense for both sides.
So we have a question for you from, his name is Eddie Mata. He asked, who do you think would be the ninth inning? Obviously, Kelly Jansen, but there's some concerns with him, but do you think he can be capable of being the ninth, obviously the closer?
No question about it. Kenley Jansen is the Dodgers closer. And, he's worked incredibly hard over the offseason. He spent some time at Driveline and has really kind of changed the mechanics as far as his lower body is concerned. And the entire time I talked to him in spring training, he feels really good. And he loves the way the ball's coming out of his hands. He loves the delivery of his pitches. Obviously, Kenley's cutter is his bread and butter, but he's really working on improving that and working on, a couple of other pitches. This is a guy that is very serious about his craft. And the one thing about the Dodgers is now I really feel like this 2020 team doesn't have any holes as far as the back end of the bullpen getting to Kenley Jansen. So, they added some key pieces. You obviously have Joe Kelly. You now have Blake Trinan. You have a tremendous amount of depth in the Dodgers starting rotation. Some of those guys are going to be in the bullpen in long relief. Kenley, until proven otherwise, Kenley is the Dodgers closer.
Yeah, so for you, let me ask you this question. How is it like covering a team where it has full of stars and the dynamic is like they come together as a team? To me, the two teams that are like most I think the best franchises in the league for me is obviously the Yankees and the Dodgers. But how is it like covering the Dodgers, the dynamic in the locker room with the full of talent?
I can tell you that this, the 2020 team is definitely the most talented team as far as, you look at a 26-man roster, and that roster could even be further expanded because of a shortened season. Certainly the most talented team that I have covered. The 2017 team was incredibly talented as well. But this group of guys, you add another MVP in Mookie Betts. You have a guy in David Price who, when healthy, is still tremendous and kind of takes the load off of, Clayton Kershaw, Walker Buehler. We have such an amazing amount of depth in the Dodgers starting rotation. And 1 through 8 is pretty disgusting as far as our lineup is concerned. I mean, if you have a lineup in which Corey Seager might be batting 5th or 6th, that's pretty nasty. So a very, very talented team and a good group of guys. Really good personalities. Andrew Friedman, Stan Kasten, the front office made it a priority to make sure they have quality character guys. You have some very good leaders in Justin Turner on the position player side, Clayton Kershaw on the pitching side. You have guys that care about one another and are very workmanlike, and all they care about is going back to the World Series and winning it this year.
Yeah, so speaking of Justin Turner, I feel like he's one of the players that had to take the longer route and to be where he is right now. And I feel like he has an inspiring background and obviously with the Mets, playing with the Mets, and so what has Justin Turner meant to the Dodgers, and how he has evolved as a player?
Justin Turner means everything to the Dodgers. I think he's the perfect Dodger. I mean, he's a Southern California kid, born and raised in Southern California, then went to Cal State Fullerton, was a Dodger fan his entire life, and has, really had to work for what he has. I mean, he was non-tendered by the Mets in 2014, showed up as a non-roster invite thanks to Ned Colletti, the former general manager of the Dodgers, who gave him an opportunity to show what he had. He didn't have a job. Justin and I basically started at the exact same time. I started in 2014 with them, and so did JT. And I remember very clearly when he actually made the roster, when he made the team, he was in the parking lot at Camelback Ranch talking to his family about making the team. And he literally, I realize in rare situations there are captains in baseball, but Justin Turner is the captain of this team, for lack of a better phrase. And Dave Roberts, his manager, has said time and time again that he's the glue that keeps this team together. And he's everything. He does everything the right way. He's always accountable, whether he has a good game or a bad game. He's always there to talk to the media. He's incredibly committed and dedicated to philanthropy and community service with the Justin Turner Foundation. He just gets it. He's a really, really good third baseman, and there's not many people I would rather have in a clutch situation than JT. So he's all around. He means everything to the Dodgers.
So what do you think? Let me ask you this. What are your thoughts on Cody Ballinger? Because I feel like he can play anywhere around the field, outfield, first base. What are your thoughts on Cody Bellinger?
I mean, he's the reigning MVP, right? So I think that says it all as far as Cody Bellinger is concerned. And this is a guy that had such a consistently good year last year, and he's still learning, and he's still young, and he's just unbelievably naturally gifted and naturally talented. I mean, he truly is a five-tool player. I mean, the guy has the arm, he has the speed, he has the bat, he has the power, he has it all. And, you put him anywhere and he can cover an amazing amount of ground in center field. And he's a very, very good first baseman. So, he's multifaceted, and we're very lucky to have him. And the one thing about Cody Bellinger is he takes a lot of pressure off of guys like Corey Seager. I mean, you don't have to, when you have a lineup 1 through 8 that the Dodgers have, nobody has to be the hero on a nightly basis. And they know that. And it's really a pass the baton mentality. I mean, you have Mookie Betts leading off, and then you have, down the line, this team is, it is. I understand why if you either love or hate the Dodgers, and I get it. And, I can understand why teams hate them, because they're really, really freaking good.
All right, let me ask you this then. I'm a Yankee fan, so do you see a Yankees-Dodgers World Series this year?
I know that's what everybody would love to see, right? I can't imagine a bigger broadcast as far as ratings were concerned, considering the rivalry, between the East and the West and the East Coast bias. And not a lot of people get to see the Dodgers, but, they're two incredibly storied franchises. Obviously, the Yankees speak for themselves with their 27 world championships, and their lineup is absolutely ridiculous. And they're a stacked team. And, who knows what would have happened in 2017. As far as World Series is concerned, as far as that route and that path. But, they're very good, and they certainly have the talent on both sides to get there. But it's it's typically a very long season. And even if it's 100-game season this year, whatever it's going to be, a lot has to happen before the Yankees and the Dodgers get there.
Yeah. So what advice would you give these young sports reporters that are trying to be like you or any other sports reporter in the business?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is understand it's a sacrifice, and you need to pay your dues. I don't think that a lot of people don't understand what it takes to get to the level that we are at this point. I mean, it takes a lot. It took me 15 years. It's been it's a process, and you don't start in a big television market if you want to be on air. You just don't.
Yeah.
You're not going to start in New York. You're not going to start in Los Angeles, and you have to pay your dues, and it's important to do so. And, be prepared to sacrifice, be prepared to work hard, be prepared to move, be prepared to not make a lot of money at first, but it's a very rewarding industry. And, I'm very lucky to have the job I have, but I've also worked very hard to get it.
Who would you say your role model is in the sports industry?
I don't have necessarily one person that I've really looked up to. I mean, my biggest role model is my mom. But I would say just in the industry, people that do it the right way, people that go about their business in a professional manner and have worked hard, both men and women. There's a lot of women in this industry that I admire, but there's a lot of men that I admire as well. And I think there's room for all of us. And, I really like the work that Susie Colbert has done. I like the work that Mike Tirico does. Joe Davis, our play-by-play guy, is tremendous. And he's young. He's very young. There's just a lot of people that I admire that do the same job I do for other teams. Emily Jones with the Rangers, Jenny Cavnar with the Rockies, Sophia Minnaert with the Brewers, Julia Morales with the Astros. There's so many people that I admire and appreciate, and, men as well in this industry that we kind of all bounce ideas off of each other. And, it takes a lot to get here. It's harder to stay, much like a Major League Baseball player, but it's a great industry to get into if you're willing to work for it.
Yeah, so I want to obviously I need to speak on the legend Vin Scully. So what has he meant to the Dodgers team, the Dodgers community, and to the fans in LA?
I mean, how much time do you have? Vin Scully is the Dodgers. He's Mount Rushmore. He's the guy. He's the one on Mount Rushmore. You had to pick one legendary Dodger. Vin is as wonderful of a human being as you think he is. He's as wonderful as a man as you think he is. He's kind. He's genuine. He's professional. He's loving. He's so good. His memory is amazing. he's everyone's from grandfather to your best friend. I mean, generations of Dodgers fans have listened to him over the decades. And, I was blessed to be able to work with Vin for a couple of seasons. And, he's genuinely a wonderful human being.
So before I let you go, I got some rapid fire questions for you and 2 takes. So Kawhi Leonard's laugh or Kevin Hart's laugh?
Kawhi Leonard.
Favorite food?
That's tough. Probably Cuban food. My mom's Cuban, so probably Cuban food.
Okay, let me ask you this. I know your last name is Rizzo, so has anyone told you before that, are you related to Anthony Rizzo from the Cubs?
On a daily basis. Anthony and I actually, we have the exact same birthday. We're both born on August 8th. I'm a lot older than Anthony, but I do actually have a brother named Anthony Rizzo. My grandfather, my brother, my dad, and my nephew are all Anthony. So I am related to Anthony Rizzo, but not the Anthony Rizzo from the Cubs, but we joke that we are related. I'm his much older little sister. If that makes any sense. We're born on the same day, August 8th, but just many, many years apart.
Wow, that's interesting. Thoughts on this Michael Jordan documentary, if you saw it?
It's so good. It's so good. I mean, I wasn't a huge NBA fan. I'm still not a huge NBA fan. I just didn't really pay attention. I'm a big football, like NFL football fan, and college football, but it's tremendous. I mean, just, it brings back so many memories of growing up. And, there's obviously a debate on who's the best, Jordan, LeBron, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But I don't necessarily think it's fair to compare athletes in different eras and generations, but I think the game has changed so much. I love it. I love watching it. I love everything about it. I think ESPN's done an amazing job with this documentary.
Favorite thing to do outside of your work?
Well, I'm a big lover of dogs, obviously, with the foundation. I love to entertain. I love to eat out. I love to drink good wine, and I love to eat. So probably just being with friends, family, eating a lot of good food, and drinking really good wine.
Favorite sports movie?
Ooh. Oh, man. That's tough. Remember the Titans, The Sandlot, League of Their Own. Those are all up there.
Who is the funniest person on the Dodgers team?
Whew. Well, Kike is definitely the goofiest, like the most out there, like entertaining. I'd have to say Kike because he's just a clown. But he's a very, very good baseball player, but he's a clown.
So the last 2 things here, I've been asking this question to all my guests that come on the show about the late Kobe Bryant and what he meant to him, meant to everyone. So for you, as a reporter and as an analyst, what has Kobe meant to you, and Gianna and Mamba Mentality mean to you?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, what a tragedy. I mean, 2020 has just been horrendous. And this has been a really rough year for a variety of reasons. But Kobe, he wasn't just a superstar in Los Angeles. He was a superstar in the world. And what he meant to the city of LA and the Los Angeles Lakers and everybody that loves him and loves basketball and loves the Lakers. I mean, it's devastating. And not only with the Kobe, but obviously to lose his daughter and the other young people on the plane is devastating. And, to see all these other amazing superstars in the sport come out and talk about what Kobe meant to them. I mean, you can't think about the NBA and greatness without having Kobe Bryant in the conversation. And Los Angeles, rightly so, is devastated. And we're still, LA is still devastated about the loss of Kobe and Gianna and the other folks on the plane. And, I remember it was January 26th. I'll never forget. I had an event for my foundation, and I found out 20 minutes before the event started that he had passed away in a helicopter crash. And, obviously we're at Dodger Stadium doing it, and there's a lot of Lakers fans there, and people were devastated. And, Kobe's legacy will live a very long time, and he'll obviously be remembered for a very long time, and, taken way too soon, and what a talent and what a tragedy.
And the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the frontline people?
Oh my gosh. First and foremost, thank you. Thank you for everything that you're doing. Obviously all of the healthcare workers and those in the hospitals and the medical personnel and, everybody that's out there, not only just the healthcare workers, but everybody in the restaurant business and, food delivery and our delivery drivers with all of the different delivery companies and, all of the teachers trying to teach students still, at home and all the parents having to do double duty and nurses and doctors and moms and dads and everybody keeping us healthy and sane and everyone trying to come up with a vaccine. And there's just so many people, that's why it's so important to come together as a community. And I know that we're impatient and I know nobody wants to stay home and everybody wants to get back to normal, but this is bigger than sports. This is bigger than baseball. And now more than ever, we need to lift each other up and take care of each other. We just have to do it from a distance.
Yeah, so before I let you go, there's this person in the chat. His name is Lambo Media. He does a lot of stuff with baseball, and he told me to mention his name to you. He wants you to come on his show also.
All right, I'll do my best.
Yeah, and so my cousin, and so everybody in this live, my cousin and I, my brother, we have a GoFundMe page. The link is in my bio. It's for the frontline people and for the local food businesses. So please, everyone, go donate. We've raised over $2,000 already, and we've been handing out sandwiches and supplies to all the nurses, doctors, cops, and soup kitchen. And today we did the same thing. We went to the hospital to deliver some stuff, and we're going to continue it next week. And we're just trying to help in any way, just to make this go quicker, and hopefully it ends sooner than later. But there she is, the talented Alanna Rizzo from the Dodgers. She does some great stuff. And please, everyone, go follow her foundation. She does great stuff with the dogs. And please go donate to her foundation. And then it was a pleasure having you on. It was inspiring.